So I'm Amjad. I am based in San Francisco, California, where I've lived for about 13 and a half years. That entire time, I've worked at a big tech company. You've probably heard of it. And I started very entry level. It was my first job out of college. I went from working in a customer service ads facing function where I helped small businesses get their businesses online and teach them how to use online advertising to increase their kind of foot traffic and marketing. Evolved over the years into more of a go-to-market and project management based role where I actually started a program about like improving the construction experience. You have to build networks in the ground, and that obviously causes a lot of disruption to neighborhoods. I really enjoyed that, did that for 3 years, and then moved into a kind of a centralized growth strategy team to really capitalize on my go-to-market experience and my desire to move in that position. So I spent 5 years there building tools and infrastructure that allow apps to cross-promote. Click a link, for example. It may open, I hope you don't find it annoying, but like a little like bottom banner that says, how do you want to open this link? Chrome, Safari, or open it in your web browser. I did that, sorry, or thank you. And we've done that in about 30 plus apps. And then after that time, I had a really great time on that team and then moved into my current role where I lead program management for Android developer experience. And so we build the tools and infrastructure to make developers, the folks who build apps on Android, make their experience better, easier, and ideally give them higher return on their investment. So it should make money and it shouldn't cost them that much to do it. Right?
Wow, you're a busy guy, man. I mean, just the accomplishments and some of the projects that you've been involved in are significant, which makes me ask. I think my next question was, what motivated you to join our ECA program at Vertical Motion?
Yeah, there was a couple of factors. I had just transitioned out of, but was still experiencing a toxic managerial relationship. And one of the things that told me that I needed to do something to change it was actually I had an interview at OpenAI. And everyone wanted to go there, but I could tell that the toxicity had like ruined my confidence. I don't usually bomb interviews, and I didn't even make it past the recruiter screen because I just did not have the confidence to be able to answer those questions appropriately, despite how much prep I had. So it had shaken me to my core. My leadership changed the reporting structure, so I moved to a new VP. And at that time, I was like, this is really good. He's super growth minded. I'm super growth minded. A lot of people were telling me not to do it, but I was like, I found ECA online. I talked to Tom, and I was like, this just seems really exciting, energetic. Tom seems like a very strong, capable leader, and you could tell he really cares about people. So I was remiss to, maybe it'll look bad if I ask my boss for some of the investment funds to kind of get into Vertical Motion. But I decided to do it. I got it because if you don't ask, you'll never get anything. And I was really happy with it. So I was really excited to join Vertical Motion, and I was happy I took the risk to ask my boss for, hey, can you help me pay for this?
Yeah. I feel like you started to turn around pretty quickly after you had that experience with, the recruiter screen. I think I love it how you're immediately like, okay, maybe it's time to like bring on some other input, some other coaching and kind of move past that. So what's your experience since you've been here?
I would say overall, it's been really positive. The community has been really great. The interesting thing about, this is my first like coaching program of sorts, but the thing that I've really enjoyed is seeing people of different backgrounds, not just tech, kind of come together and be really interested in helping one another has been really helpful. I keep thinking about the times, even during the holidays a couple months ago, Lewis Keller would often text me like, how are you doing, buddy? And we would get on a couple of Zooms just to chat. And it's just like, oh, this is super cool. Like he's just a really sweet guy. The module I really like that they're self-paced. The coaches like you and Jackie are really great. You're direct. You understand what you're talking about. You know what you're doing, and you're always available if you need a quick, if I want to bounce a quick idea off of somebody. So that's been really nice. And I actually caught up with Tom again on Tuesday, and I'll be explicit about this. One of the things I love about Vertical Motion is I kind of had to drop off the face of the earth for a little bit. Like work was getting busy, life was getting busy. I had a couple interviews, which was fantastic, but I didn't have time to focus on anything else besides just like preparing for those. The modules as recording content, but I stopped kind of attending the trainings. And then by the time like my schedule cleared up and I was ready, I remember I joined a Tuesday call and Tom was like, Amjad, so good to see you. Welcome back. We missed you. And then on Tuesday, I talked to him this week, and he was like, "My door's always open. Come talk to me anytime." So it really feels like a really, kind, rewarding place where people really are invested in your success.
Yeah, no, we very much are. It's hard to get to know somebody and get to know somebody's story and then not be interested, right? I mean, I think you have a great story. I have thoroughly enjoyed engaging with you. You're fun, you're interesting, you're articulate. You've always got something interesting to say. So, yeah, it's been good. And we do miss people when and life happens, right? When things come up, you kind of have to divert your attention, divert your energy, and do what you need to do. But always glad to see you back. So, are you? I mean, I know that things have changed a lot. Are you happy in the role that you have now?
Oh, it's a good question. There's so many layers to that. I'm happy enough where, there are many opportunities still open internally right now where I
Mm,
could theoretically just change jobs. And, obviously it's not as simple as like apply and you get it, right? But I could
right.
theoretically network enough and just get a role internally and swap, where it'd be more of a lateral move. So I'm happy enough with what I'm doing now where I don't need to do that. Right. But what I am interested in still is the kind of I'm just at the border of being an executive at my company.
Yep.
So I don't need to stay there. I'm super open to moving. And so one of the things Tom and I talked about is like, okay, you had a couple opportunities. I was runner up for both of them, which is good, which means I'm punching at, the executive level. It's just, I think folks are looking for someone who has actual executive experience.
Right.
So I have two good paths is kind of what we landed at. One is I sit where my butt is right now, right? And I will eventually get to the executive level. I'm clearly on the trajectory there. And my
Yeah.
conversations with my boss elucidate to that as well.
Yeah.
Or the other option is, Jackie does, Tom does, start posting, make your brand known, make
Right.
your clear identity known, and then that opportunity ideally will come to you. And so I'm kind of at an inflection point where, and even this conversation, you're catching me at the time where I'm kind of in a reflective period about like, what path do I want to choose? And I'm leaning towards the start posting, get my brand, because if no one knows
Yay.
who I am, if no one knows who I am, how am I going to get this executive role? Right.
I love that. Yay. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I would say that is one of the mindset shifts that you walk away with from us, because honestly, Amjad, I know in the not too distant future, if not now, your next role is going to come from what we refer to as the whisper network. People
Yep.
are going to know your expertise. People are going to know who you are. They're going to know your brand, and you will spend a lot less time doing those online applications and kind of the emergency networking that everybody does when they're looking for a new role. And what will happen is people will
Yep.
start to think of you when they hear about the roles, oh, wait, there is yeah, you need to talk to Amjad. And so I feel like you're really close. I feel like that was a mind shift for you. So any other mind shifts that happened?
I used to think this is what I'm still wrestling with, but I'm like I'm getting there because I mentioned I had toxic kind of situation, and while the reporting structure changed, they were still kind of around in my orbit, and still I needed to work with them regularly. And so what I was finding is at the end of my days at work, I was just I'm exhausted. I'm going to sit down and rot in front of the TV or go for an extra walk with the dog or like, I don't know, have a glass of wine. And that doesn't really lend itself to, sitting down, thinking about what your personal brand is, what your professional brand is, kind of the things that you want to work at. And so one of the things that I'm working through right now is the mindset shift of like, this isn't work, right? To talk about who I am and put that out there. Because the things I'm writing about, eventually on LinkedIn, or the things I'll be making videos about if I end up deciding to do videos, right, will be about things I know. And they just come off of the top of my head easy. So it's not really extra work because for me, it's easy, right? And so I should just remember this isn't hard. Just write your thing. It's going to take you 30 seconds. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's not work. When you're
Yeah.
working on your professional brand, you're working on yourself. You're not working for somebody else to do this, but it is for you. I love that. And I am going to I'm going to be the first one to throw out, yeah, you need to do videos. You're very natural at this. You're very good at this. I mean, you're very engaging. There's something about you that I'll sit and listen. I'll sit and talk to you. I'll go have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. So, and
Thank
you're so right. You're so right with that's what we want to do. We kind of I just want to numb out. I'm just tired. And, the emotional energy it takes when you're working with toxic leaders, it wears you out. So, like I said, I think that this next season, you're going to have more energy to do that. So I'm going to be pushing you and say, all right, we're waiting. We're waiting to hear what's
Please
John
do.
got to write. Yeah. Yeah.
Please do hold me accountable for my
I will.
BS, right? Like I want
I
that.
will. I will. Well, I guess here's probably my last thought. If there is somebody out there who is thinking about working with vertical motion, what would you say to them? Maybe they're in the same place that you are, or, a different situation. Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I like this question. I think the first thing I would start with is, and this is a thing I struggled with initially when I was wrestling with the idea. Like, yeah, I make plenty of money, already, which is great, but the cost is surprising, and it's not easy money, especially when you live in a high cost of living city. So, but for me, that investment is totally worth it. Right. And
Mm,
I think joining vertical motion, understanding kind of that you'll be not just purchasing courses, right, where you can kind of read asynchronously. It's not really like the courses are helpful, but that's not really the value that you're getting. It's the network that you're building. It's the folks that you're talking to. It's the connections you make along the way. And one of the things I actually love reading is, in the wins channel in the Slack is
yeah.
all the different things people are considering wins. Because like one of the things I would look at is, I never would have thought that as a win, but
Yeah.
that's me underselling what I'm doing, right? And I'm like, no, that's right. I did have something similar to that this week. That's absolutely a win. So that energy starts kind of snowballing on itself. And if you are active and you are engaged and you actually try, and you've heard me say like I've had to take pauses, but if you
Mhm.
actually try, I actually think that investment will pay you dividends. I'd probably say it's comparable to I don't have an MBA, but now I don't feel like I need to go get one because I know the things that you need to do. I've been taught the executive skills that I need to have, and I have a network of people in various industries. And really, that's the value of an MBA is the network of people. And Vertical Motion has what, hundreds of people
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a global network. I mean,
Yeah,
we've got people that we've attracted from around the world, and the people that we attract are very unique. They're accomplished in their industries, they're accomplished in their work. But the thing that remains consistent with all of them is they're nice people.
yeah,
Everybody is willing to kind of reach across and help each other. But I do love the point you made in that whatever industry we're in, we tend to have our network within that box.
yeah,
You're in tech, my network are they're tech people. So I think when you join vertical motion, what you have access to is you have access to people that are in multiple industries, and that is baked in that the I think the value there is tremendous. And so yeah, no, I love what you had to say, and I completely agree.
awesome.
Yeah.
I will say maybe one other thing is just I think my favorite part of the program as well is just I don't even know how to describe it. Like maybe you guys have like a secret notes calendar or notes document or something somewhere, but the things you guys all remember about people uh, and the scale at which you're operating to me is always just there's such a human element to vertical motion, and it's one of the things I know as part of my personal brand. Like I know from my disc assessment that we did together that
Right.
I'm very high I, and people matter a lot to me. So the thing that I value a lot about you, Jackie, Tom, is you remember details about people,
Mm.
care about people, and for me that's also like definitely been a worthwhile part of the vertical motion experience.
Oh, I love that. And thank you. Thank you so much for that. We really care about people. Everybody's got a story, everybody's got a challenge. And I think we relate to that. We've all had our own experiences in the professional world. So people are important. People are important. So thank you for noticing.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Amjad. I appreciate the time that you took and all the wonderful things that you said about us. I'm so happy that you've had such a good experience. We have loved having you here, and we want to see you continue to grow in your professional career and even personally, fun things that happens. Please, let us know. I do need to know. It's a really important question. What kind of dog do you have?
He's a Chihuahua. His name is Murphy, and that was the name he had at the shelter. And the
Oh,
best part about my dog is that that is on the short list of names I had anyway. So I was like,
okay.
oh, you're already named Murphy. You're a Chihuahua. You don't bark. You don't bite. You love people. You're basically a cat. He's so mild mannered. I was like, and he's over there like sleeping with his back towards me
Oh,
right now. So he's such a good boy. So I'm
oh,
happy he's in my life.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Sandra.